I told you there was a Mario game where you can't jump? That's like having a Sonic game where he only walks because if he runs he trips over his own shoelaces. Except this is actually real, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I have gotten a lot of requests to do Wrecking Crew, and seeing that reviewing it would knock another launch title off the list, I'm happy to oblige. It's a game where you have no other goal but to destroy things, so by default I already like it. And while there are a couple problems I have with it, I'd say that it's a pretty good addition to the launch lineup. Wrecking Crew is the third game in what I like to call the Mario but not really trilogy. He wasn't Super Mario yet because he hadn't discovered the power of shrooms. Apparently Mario had a pretty turbulent career before he started beating up giant turtles and saving princesses. In fact, this is the 5th job he's had just in the games I've reviewed so far. In this game, he's a demolitionist. I'm going to address the elephant in the room right away. You can't jump in this game. Yes, there is a Mario game where he can't jump. I'm being serious. But you know what? I can at least appreciate them trying something new. It almost feels like a precursor to Captain Toad. Maybe they just wanted to be consistent with Donkey Kong where you can't jump when you're holding a hammer. But then again, you can climb ladders when you're holding a hammer, which you couldn't do in Donkey Kong. And also the hammer does something completely different, so I'll give it like a D+ in terms of consistency. Anyway, no jumping means that A and B both swing your hammer. I always hated games that did that. Yeah, we have 2 big red buttons on the front of the controller. Let's make them do exactly the same thing. That makes sense. You want to know what you do with the hammer? You hit the background. In fact, you can only hit the background, meaning that you can't hit monsters with it. I was originally gonna complain about that, but upon reflection, I kinda like that idea. It's fun to play a game where the challenge isn't from combat, but from outsmarting enemies and predicting where they'll go. Speaking of enemies, those include killer wrenches, which, I mean, this is a construction site, so that makes sense. Eggplant men, which no, I did not just make up because I read the manual this time, and yeah, that's what they're called. I'm looking at it right now. You know, I've never worked in construction, so I'm just gonna ask anyone who has. Did you ever get attacked on the job by killer wrenches and eggplant people? And also, was your boss actively trying to murder you? Mario's aforementioned homicidal boss is named Spike. Spike is basically just Wario before Wario existed. If you think that's me oversimplifying, I'd like to point out they were designed by the same guy. Spike even appears in the Illumination Mario movie, which is a pretty cool reference to this game. He'll actively try to mess you up and make you fall in the levels. But the good news is you can do exactly the same thing to him. Spike can't kill you, but the other enemies can. And when they do, Mario falls and spins all the way down below the ground. No pipe needed. It got a chuckle out of me the first time I saw it, so I thought I'd bring it up. There's also this bonus round where you and Spike have to find a coin hidden beneath one of the breakable objects. As far as I can tell, it's completely based on luck, and I didn't win it a single time. I guess now I should talk about the different kind of stuff you can break. There are walls in the background, which is the only thing you can actually hit with your hammer. There are also breakable ladders, and if you break them, then you're soft-locked. Shockingly, the game actually has a solution for soft-locking yourself. Whenever you're stuck, you can just hit the select button and it resets at the current level. It even gives you all your lives back when you do that. The only downside is that your score gets deleted, but I mean, this is an NES game. Your scores get deleted anyway once you turn it off, so who cares? There are also bombs which will destroy an entire row of objects. They're pretty useful, but they're also the main thing that made me soft lock while I was playing this game. There are also doors which you can open with a hammer. If an enemy walks by an opened door, then it'll get stuck in the background. This makes the enemy harmless and also turns the level into a complete cakewalk. Also, do you see those very obvious arrows going both ways at the ends of the screen? Now, any sane person on Earth would realize in like 2 seconds that this means it's a wraparound screen, right? Wrong, because I didn't realize it for about 5 minutes. And that's because I'm a very smart game reviewer. I guess next up I'll talk about the visuals and, They're okay, I guess. Like a lot of the other launch titles for the NES, it does this black background thing. Now, I'm already not a big fan of that, but in this game, there's just something particularly annoying about it. Like, with how complex all the sprites are and how good everything else looks, it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like there's something missing to it. Even a simple background would have made this game look way better to me. I really like the designs of Spike and the enemies, so it's a shame that the background kind of spoils the whole thing. You know, I'd actually go as far as to say this game has more impressive sprite work than Super Mario Bros. I mean, the roof looks nice, the sides look nice. All of the objects you have to break actually have pretty good sprite work, and the floor's a little weird, but I mean, it's cool looking, I guess. So yeah, I think that's everything. I guess the last thing would be the title screen. I like it. I mean, it's simple, but it's also pretty thematic and accurate. And that's the game. Yep, nothing else to talk about. Okay, I can't put it off any longer. Let's talk about the design mode. Okay, so you can design your own buildings. It works pretty much exactly the same way that the track builder did in Excitebike, except way better if you ask me. I should warn you though, trying to play the game before you've designed any courses will softlock you in an infinite loop of the first 4 unfinished stages that you haven't made yet. Also, you still can't save or load tracks because you have to have a cassette tape for that, and they didn't release that cassette tape in North America. Although they did mention in the manual that the save and load features don't work, meaning that Nintendo technically didn't lie. Anyway, the level designer makes a lot more sense to me in this game compared to an Excitebike. I didn't even need to look through the manual to figure out how it worked. The way it works is that the level designer is basically a grid, and you can put whatever you want on any space in that grid. As long as there are objects to break and a Mario to break them, you can do whatever you want. You can even name your levels if you want, which I wasn't expecting. It's pretty cool that they added that. I actually managed to finish a stage and play through it, and sure, it was low effort garbage, but I had a fun time making it and a fun time playing it, so who cares? You know, I initially didn't really care for this game, but as I kept playing it, it won me over. It's simple, yeah, but it's really charming and well made, which is a sign of a lot of good Nintendo games from this era. And while it's not my favorite of the Mario but not really trilogy, it still holds up pretty well. So where does Wrecking Crew fit in with the other NES games I've reviewed? Pretty close to the middle, but high middle. I guess I'll put it between Pac-Man and Tennis. As far as the launch titles go, it's in second place so far. 6 down, 11 to go. Anyway, 7 out of 10, thank you for watching. Have a good day, like and subscribe. Bye!